Hi, and welcome back to our Ask the Agronomist video series. I am Phil Long, Precision Agronomy Advisor with Latham High-Tech Seeds. And this week we're going to go through a little bit of a blitz on the soybean gall midge. So let's jump right in. This is an update on research that's been done the last year and things that are probably the most important to remember, and some of the exciting things that we've learned. Although this is a very new pest we're dealing with, every year we're going to learn a little bit more about this. So let's jump right in. The first thing that's new in my mind, what we're starting to learn about these soybean gall midges, is on the life cycle of them. So it's about a month, roughly on average, about a month life cycle for them. So they continue to generate more life cycles as they go through. Unfortunately, there's no pattern of emergence yet that they're finding. They can't pinpoint a certain number of GDUs until they emerge. So they kind of start emerging erratically. And then those generations start overlapping, which makes it really tough and difficult to hit them with an insecticide when they're so unpredictable, unfortunately. But it's important to understand how they're moving in those life cycles. The next thing that they also showed was when they overwinter, like they are right now, in the cocoons that they have in the ground, they're actually only in the ground, over 95% of them are only 2.5 inches in the ground or less. So they're in the top couple inches of the soil, which is interesting because it might be something where we can alter with tillage, maybe cause some mortality in them so that not as many of them emerge in the spring, and they're all within the first 100 feet of that field edge. So they're doing more research on that, and this year and the coming years we'll learn more about how impactful that is in terms of tillage. The other thing that's really important is we've talked about proximity to grassy areas and stuff is important with soybean gall midge. It's more important how close you are to the neighboring soybean fields. So that's also something that we're finally starting to get figured out. And the last thing I want to add is the unique thing that they figured out where they lay their eggs. They actually pinpoint just on soybean plants that have cracks in the stem. Now you think, okay, well, soybean plants maybe don't have cracks in the stem. Why are they going after all our soybeans? Well, most soybeans do develop cracks in the stem as they grow and that stem gets bigger. Late season, you can see lots of cracks in the stem, kind of becomes callous and hard, but there's lots of woody stem cracks and so forth in the lower stem. But even early season, as those plants are growing and expanding, you'll see these little cracks, and that's where the soybean gall midge, the little fly, comes out in the spring and lays their eggs in those cracks. So plants that didn't have cracks in them had no infestation, at least early on in the season after the first generation. So what worked and what didn't work so far? They're throwing the kitchen sink at it, you could say. A couple things that come to the top of the list that's actually seem to be working right now, although I think it's going to be an integrated approach either way we do it with this pest, because it's just challenging to attack a pest like this as unpredictable as it is and where it feeds. But they are seeing success with putting insecticide with the planter at planting with the planter and incorporating that. They're using it in a band, and that is showing significant yield advantage. They also found a significant yield advantage by spraying with drop nozzles, which is not something a lot of us have or use, especially in soybeans, but those drop nozzles got them down below the canopy. They could spray a little later in season, spray that insecticide at the base of the plant, and it had better activity and efficacy on those soybean gall midges as they emerged and so forth. So that did show promise. The other thing that they tried, which actually showed surprisingly good results, was hilling the soil around those plants to cover those cracks up. So I think we're going to see some maybe even cultural control measures and different things trying to battle this pest at all different angles. It's going to take a little bit of everything just because of that wide emergence window and unpredictability of when they're out of the stem and when we can actually spray them or hit them. And unfortunately, since they're focused on the lower part of the stem, it makes it really challenging to spray them with insecticides. So if you want to learn more, feel free to go to the soybeangallmidge.org website. That's where they keep up-to-date information. Or feel free to reach out to us at 1-877-GO-LATHAMS or visit us on our website at lathamseeds.com. Thanks for watching this week's Ask the Agronomist.